Hey y'all, having some cookies. So good. Belgian milk chocolate and salted caramel cookies. Delicious. As you know, I'm always trying to cut down on sugar, so we're going to put the bag aside. Hello, welcome to my Sunday Live. It's Viv, and I am a trained yoga teacher, holistic teacher, mostly working with women who are fed up with their stress level, want to take back their feminine wisdom, get their stress under control. You are in the right place. Welcome. So I am in the UK right now, and let's see, what did I call this video? Okay, we're going to talk about solo travel now that I've got some experience under my belt. And this is not going to be like scientific research. It's going to be my own thoughts as a, over 50 woman traveling abroad, traveling solo. Okay? So that is what we're going to talk about. I am pretty comfy. I know it's a lot of gray. This is, again, not my decor. Okay? We've got some art, which is actually hung a little bit too high. Generally, if you're hanging art, people, you want like an average height person at eye level for the art to be almost like halfway down at their eye level. And this is actually kind of high. Anyway, just an art hanging tip for you. Hey, say hello as you come into the room. I was just watching a lovely video, Where Can Americans Move Now, with Rashida Dow and Stephanie Perry. And it actually just ended. I'm going to close. And I was like, oh, I have to go do my live. So where are you today? Say hi, say hi. Again, I'm going to talk a bit about, and I'll also take your questions. And I will also very likely do some mini readings, okay? But the topic today for my channel, and it is a little different. Like I keep saying, I'm not going to become a travel channel, but because I am traveling, I guess I'm slow madding. Is that what you call it? Yeah, slow nomading. And as Rashida was just saying on her channel, which is what their video was about, like I said, like what can you do if you are not feeling, all is well in your home country, if your home country is the US and you want to be out of the country relatively quickly. That's what her video is about, so do go check that out. There are a lot of options that you may not think you have, but there are a lot of options. Hey, welcome. If you're just joining my channel, welcome, welcome. It's Coach Viv. I will be doing some readings later on. Hey, Donna, it's nice to see you. How are you doing, Donna? And I also have some chamomile tea. So what I thought I would do, you guys know I really am a spontaneous person. So, and do I still have a pin in my hair? No. Good. Because I had two pens in my hair a second ago. I was going to say the good and the bad of solo travel, my slow matting update, okay? Donna, do you have any questions? How are you doing? Yeah. So guys, I can also take an intuitive approach with your questions, but if you have, any questions about maybe getting abroad, I am a nerd about it. So even though I haven't traveled extensively myself, you guys know I'm a retired semi-retired professor. I'm not really retired. I don't think we should retire because I love everything I do. I don't want to stop doing it. I love it. But if you have questions about traveling solo, like I said, I am a bit of a nerd about it. I've done a lot of research on different countries that we can travel to. So if you have any questions about that, Donna, how is your peace of mind? How are you doing? Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. Do you mean the one on Rashida's channel? Oh, that I posted on Friday. Oh, okay, gotcha. Let me see. I'm so funny. Let me see. Oh, okay, wait. It wasn't a live, so hold on. I have to go to a different place. Energy vampires, yes. So thank you, Donna, for bringing that up. Please, you guys, I put out a lot of videos recently, and I think more than folks are used to. because I have been having more energy while I'm traveling, right? Like out of the US. And so I've been able to put out more videos. So yeah, what Donna's talking about is a video I went ahead and titled it Energy Vampires. Trust me, many of us are. We have energy vampires in our life. Now, if you watch the video, I will say that I more talk about people who aren't obviously energy vampires, because I think people who obviously drain you, you're aware of that and you kind of already taken steps. What makes my video unique, and Donna, let me know what you think, is I'm talking about kind of just recognizing and acknowledging that there may be people who seem seem perfectly competent, seem nice, whatever. Maybe not, it's not that they don't seem nice, but that you just don't suspect that they're draining your energy. So please go watch that video, Energy Vampires, that I put up, and how to block them. And I think I give two main ways. One, how to just recognize, and then how to block them, and especially if you're in conversation with them. I also have a wonderful video on a toxic workplace talking about that for many of us, it's worth it to get out of that toxic workplace, okay? I did it many years ago, so I'm not just telling you get out, but it's something that I did as well, okay? I have another recent video on overcome the fear of change and take the leap, and I love that one. It's got a beautiful, like, she's doing this. I did make it with AI, which is not as easy as you think. She's like leaping, looks like a ballerina. And then I have last one that I really recommend is the I am meditations, and is really beautiful. That one definitely needs more views. So check that out. Divine Feminine, I am peace, I am power, I am divine. And it has these statements. And then I end with about 6 minutes of quiet meditation. And I think that throws some people off. It's like I'm trying to read minds. What I mean by that is I think some folks come in, especially maybe the younger folks, they come in, they just want affirmations to play in the background. And I mixed it with a meditation because it's going to take you deeper. So you hear the phrases, you let them like wash over you, and then you sit quietly in contemplation. So check that out as well. The I am meditation, Divine Feminine. Okay, check those out. All right, let me go back over to my screen. So I will be doing readings, mini readings. And so definitely, stick around for that. So it's getting ready. It's a little before sunset here in the UK. I'm in the southern UK. You can tell I'm dyslexic because I'm trying to get this side of my hair. Yeah. I am in the Dorset region, the southern coast of the UK right now. Let me read your comments. Okay. When you say warm and tingly, Donna, are you saying from her? Because that sounds like a positive feeling. Typically, when your energy is being drained, it's not a warm, tingly feeling. So just clarify that for me. I totally understand the rest of it. It's a friend, exactly. Hmm. I made that video because I was having that interaction with someone who had come into my life recently, who I really respected. I kind of always assume I just, I tend to assume positively with people, especially if they're putting on that front. But then it quickly became clear this person was taking me for like an energetic ride. And because I am empathic, because I really can feel into people's emotions, and this individual also, I don't want to say specifically what they were doing, but they were um, helping me in some way. They then were taking me on this emotional roller coaster with them. And that's what inspired me to make that video. Okay. So do check it out. Energy Vampires, identifying people who drain your energy and also how to block them. All right. I feel much, much better now. So, I learned something and I just thought it would make a good video. So great. Hey, Vintage Sims, welcome. So Donna, I'm just, mm-hmm. She does pull on me and I felt immediate results. We'll definitely keep up that practice. Okay, it sounds like, okay, so you did a practice. Yeah, oh my gosh. Okay, I have to thank you, Donna. So Donna says the warm and tingly was as she called back her energy. Yes, yes, goddess, exactly. Exactly. when that happens, you know something's up, because it's like going from like rain to dry weather, or like, yeah, like humid to dry weather. Like, what you felt one way, and then when you consciously did, hopefully, I guess the practices I either led or explained in that video, you felt warm and tingly. That's exactly, your energy is coming back. So I'm really happy for you. And any of us who do yoga, any of you watching this, or you do yoga, or you meditate, you're a spiritual person. I'm sorry, I'm watching the cat lick the oil bottle, because cats, they love oily things. It's just licking the, like, the side of the. I'm just gonna leave it alone. Let it get its, moisture, get its oils to coat itself with. But that's why I'm looking over there like, ew, ew, ew. You're licking the bottle right by the lid. But yeah, warm and tingly is your energy is coming back. So I'm really glad. Yeah. Vintage, how are you? I haven't seen you in a while. So welcome those of you who are here. Say hi in the chat. You're entering the room. And yeah, so I'm not just sitting alone in my room, right? In the UK, in the Dorset area. Let me sit up straighter. And it is the rare sunny day. I have to tell you guys, England in February and now in March is gray. And I've talked to Brits about it. They're like, yeah, we really had a gray February. Like, you really, really chose a February, right? Good boy. If you heard a thunk, that was the cat. Let's see if it wants to come up. It's a beautiful black long hair Persian. So it's this huge puff of black fur. And then you just see the eyes, and it's really funny. Really beautiful cat. Yeah, vintage. It's honest, to be really honest with you. It's yeah, let me break it down. As I keep saying, the reason I keep saying it too, I'm not a travel channel, is because YouTube, you guys can get really confused. If you do too much of a certain type of video, it's like, oh wait, she's not talking about like mindfulness and energy anymore. She's talking about travel. And it can really mess up who they put your videos in front of. But again, I feel like some of you, you're invested in the channel. And so I can't, like, I could just ignore that I'm traveling and not mention it and not make videos about it. But I will take the, any dent to, or any hit on my viewership. So vintage, I'm not traveling to travel. And I really want to make this clear, because it's part of my ethos. I think at this point on the planet, I don't really think we should be traveling just to travel, if that makes sense. I think our planet, with the negative effects of air travel, um, on climate change, okay, I do not see very many people talking about it. We're trying to ignore it. We're like still trying to just like ignore it and carry on. I am literally traveling, vintage, and those of you watching, to just be in a more peaceful place, if that makes sense. So I'm not traveling in this. Ooh, okay. The cat has like a huge, one of those built up multi-level things with the carpeting, and it's actually shaking because it's on a, you guys, this is so funny. It's a big cat. It's a big cat. Okay, it's settled down good. And it's on like a stand, and the stand isn't really secure. The stand is going like this. So the cat was like, that's what I was watching. I was like, oh shit, okay. And of course it's a cat, so it's gonna land fine, but it was pretty funny. The cat is bigger than, it's got like a tabletop, maybe this big, like 12 inches, and the cat is literally like 14 inches. So it's really cute. It's hanging off of it. But so I'm traveling more because I'm scouting, vintage, and like looking um, for a place to be longer term. So yeah, it's not just like travel, like, oh, hey, I'm an Instagram. Like, no, because that's not me. Instagram travel influencer. I've thought about that. I've thought about, if you're going to travel, you should like, but it's not really who I am. I may, if there's a really nice place, do something like it, about it. So, but yeah, I'm basically just being out of the US because of the stress. Spirit said to me, get out. My ancestors, my inner voice was like, get out. So that's why I'm traveling. And England was one of the easier places as an American currently You guys, give me a thumbs up or a yes if you know what I'm saying. Currently, that will accept Americans, that is, that we're still friendly with, okay? That there's still a little friendship happening. It's hasn't England hasn't felt attacked yet, I don't think, by politics in the U.S. So, yeah, but thank you. Thank you for saying that. I appreciate it. So, I wanted to talk a little bit about solo travel, the good and the bad. I'm going to lead off with, okay, so what's good? There's a lot of things that's good. My stress level is lower here in the UK on most things. So, slow travel, again, is typically means you don't just go from like, oh, I went to see Paris for 5 days and then I went here and then I came home. Slow travel, you guys, implies that one, I do believe it's better for the environment, but it's also better for our mental health. So it typically means you stay for like 3 weeks to a month in a place, right? Because so you get to know the place. All right. So that's what I'm doing, is like slow matting, I think it's called. So I have seen the Midlands of the UK, which is, I'm going to say this is probably wrong, but to me, like Ohio, like the Midwest. I think the equivalent of the Midlands in the UK, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong, is more like seeing kind of the Midwest in America. A lot of farm country, of course, but British style, right? And they don't really have a lot of their farms anymore, is what it appears to be. But that kind of traditional British landscape. Um, Overall, it's been relaxing. Like I said, I'm going to share the good and the bad because any of you coming up, if you're going to travel, right? I think especially women, especially Black women, over 50. So some of this may not be talked about. So the slow travel is good. I think in terms of dealing with jet lag, it's definitely cheaper, you guys, to slow travel. Here's why. Typically, if you're doing Airbnb or anything like that, right? It's quite expensive if it's short, but if you can get any accommodation longer, it's going to be cheaper. Okay? So when you slow down your travel, typically the housing part, the price is lower. So that's the first thing. You're not packing up and going as much. You really get to settle in and see an area, see if you like it, check in with people, whatever. So I do recommend it. Also, for those of you who might be thinking about vintage, or Donna, are you thinking about getting out of the country? Because again, it's not my usual topic, so I have no idea how many of you are actually thinking about it. Because I watch a lot of channels, again, like Rashida Dow, Peaky Girl Travels the World, Stephanie Perry, where they're talking about specifically Black women leaving the US for places that may feel a little safer, a little more welcoming, where life it might be a little bit easier and lower cost. Okay. So are any of you watching this, even if you're coming in later, let me know if that's anything you're interested in or thinking about. Okay, Donna, yeah. Okay. You're definitely thinking about, yeah. You guys, I'm an intuitive. So again, those of you watching the channel are more into the spiritual stuff. So I'm telling you, my sense is that it's like a ship sinking, right? You have two choices. Typically, do you want to stay on the ship? By the way, I'm fascinated by the Titanic. We'll talk about that because I think I'm going to go to see a museum that is where the Titanic sailed from, and I'm going to go there because they have a big exhibit on the Titanic, a big, regular exhibit that they keep there on the Titanic. But if you are on a ship that is sinking, there are two choices. You could either try to like stop the ship sinking if you think you have that capacity, right? You can stop it, do what you can to stop the leak. I don't know. Maybe try to save people, or you can be like, the ship is sinking. Let me get out. Okay. So really the two choices. Let me get in the lifeboats. So that's my analogy. All right, so I'm going to read your comments. Thank you so much for your comments. If you're just joining, it's Coach Viv. I usually talk about spirituality, mindfulness, chakras, energy healing, dealing with stress, especially with being more mindful and incorporating mindfulness into your daily life. So I will be doing readings, so stick around. I'll be doing many readings for those of you who are here. Vintage says, so Donna says, thinking about getting out of America. So Donna, that was my reply to you. I heard Get Out. Watch, yeah, Stephanie Perry's channel. Let me put their names in there. Stephanie Perry. She just got residency in Mexico. And then literally, you guys, literally 2 days later, Mexico changed some of the rules. So things are shifting very fast. Even if you think you can't, I do not have a lot of money. Before listening to these women and seeing women doing it, moving to maybe lower cost countries, I thought, I can't, or travel or no, I can't do any of that. There are different ways you can do it. So check out Stephanie Perry's channel and Rashida Dow. And check out also Picky Girl Travels the World. Picky Girl Travels the World. Okay. Those are like the main ones. There's, also, it's Blacksit Global, but I'm not sure that's Krishan. She's in Portugal. Okay. So the good things about traveling solo, I am an introvert. And so the main problem, I'll get to it right now. What the main problem is, I did not foresee, and I was just talking to a girlfriend of mine back in the US. She's like, oh my God, that was my first thought. Because as I said, Spirit says to me, get out. And I listen to my intuition for, good or ill. I need to trust my inner voice, right? Because of course, there's still things can happen wherever you are. But I need to listen to that intuitive. I think the type I am, the INTJM, whatever, it's INTP, like that thing. That's the type I am, very intuitive. And there's an element of spontaneity. So the main problem with slow travel or any travel solo is loneliness, which you probably like, well, yeah, you're not traveling with anybody. Now, remember, as I said, I'm an introvert. It's more challenging. This is really the challenge. It's loneliness, but here's why I'm having trouble, you guys. It's the time zone. So literally, I'm actually, because at home in the US, which I'm still saying at home, right? I was in my apartment a lot. I work from home, work on the laptop, coaching. So I would be in my house a lot. But yes, my friends would be available on the phone, or we'd hang out like maybe once a week. But get what I'm saying, when you're in a place, so think about it, if you go traveling and if you do think about moving abroad for a sabbatical or anything, think about the time zone relative to your friends. So yeah, none of my friends, because again, America is typically 5 hours behind Europe. So think about it, most people work, if it's 6, it's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 at night. I'm winding down. I've had a whole day getting ready to go to bed. That person was just coming out of work, right? Typically, I talk to my friends like 7 o'clock at night, 8 o'clock at night. It's impossible. So that's what's happened, you guys. So the bad about slow travel, any type of travel solo, is being out of time zones, out of sync with your friends and your support group. That's what I'm finding. If anybody has any ideas, let me know. All right. Let me know. Let me read Vintage. Okay, Vintage. I see you're saying where you are. What do you mean get your student loans? Anyway, you don't have to share that necessarily publicly, but I don't quite understand. I know you're waiting till get my student loans, but next month okay, good. Get that. Get your passport. All Americans should really have a passport. You can't travel without it. So just have it ready and before you really need it, right? Don't wait till things are backlogged. Okay? Because they are already backlogged, by the way. If you're watching this and you want to travel, just know that I'm pretty sure there's going to be a backlog, especially if they're government cuts, because this is a government office that would process these things, right? So again, to kind of toot my own horn and my intuition, I was, trying to get this like 2 years ago, right? And worked on it 2 years ago. So started, and as many of you know, one of my Caribbean passport took a while because there were some, I had to do like a name change. There were some issues on my birth certificate that I couldn't foresee. So all of you watching this, please, if you think you're even going to want to travel or relocate, get your passport, start that process, okay? Start that process. Yeah, no, I understand vintage. Absolutely. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Vintage, you have some skills though. I am so glad you're here. Maybe it's just this small group that is here that I'm here to serve. So, just like you, for some years I didn't work, or when I was teaching as a professor, that was only full time. I want to say that was only like 5 years. So, yeah, I didn't over my life get, have a high income. I wasn't one of these corporate women or even like a government job where you have steady, an increasing and you have tiers and you work your way up. So I totally understand that. But you're gonna use the student loans to travel? And vintage, I have to tell you, same thing. Literally, till I went to Italy, I hadn't traveled for 20 years. So you're not alone. You are absolutely not alone. Don't give up if you want to travel. Vintage, even if you want to reach out to me, I would communicate with you a little bit about this to give you some ideas. But again, I think a lot of people on my channel are not so interested in it. But there are countries that are easier to travel to. Also, just as an American, you can often travel as a tourist, which is what the slow matting is, right? You're not doing all this so much paperwork. You're just like traveling. You're kind of like vacationing, in different places. So you're not trying to like necessarily settle in any one place. But yeah, I had not traveled for 20 years till I got to Italy. And for that part of that, I looked for an art grant, which again, everything is being cut, is to do research on a particular art topic and create artwork. And so that paid at least for my ticket. And then the rest was from savings and my own monies, right? You guys, I'm going to show you the cat. I have to. I have to. If you watch my channel, you know how I feel about cats. So let me just turn this around. Let me see. Can you see the kitty? One one eye is open. I think you guys saw the cat, right? Because the cat like opened one eye when I held up the computer. I held up the laptop. It's like, what are you doing? So big fluffy cat, beautiful, beautiful cat. Yeah, vintage. You can do it. And also you have skills. We all have some sort of gifts that we're here we can share, whether it's just so you know how to speak English, vintage, right? There's so many things that are basic that we take for granted. So again, the good about slow travel is getting to know a place. I actually, traveling alone, you can meet more people. But like I said, the negative that I'm finding is loneliness because I'm out of time zone with my friends. Now, my solution, what I am going to do more of, and I want to come back here and report to you guys. And this is just a tip for you. Again, especially if you're a woman over 50, is in the US, I feel like we're less seen. I will go there on that. If once you're a mature woman, you become more invisible. I'm not the only one saying this, right? Um, so I think that's different abroad. I don't think there's a sort of invisibility of mature women abroad. I don't think it's to that extent as in the US because we're so youth centric here. We're so youth obsessed, right? So traveling solo can be good if you're like over 50 or 60s or 70s. Also, many countries respect older people more. So there are even perks to being older. Um, so what I'm going to do though to deal with being out of sync with my friends is and I knew this, like I always tell other people stuff and then I'm like, but you got to do it. So you guys know I'm a yoga teacher. Anytime I've moved in the US, what's the first thing I do? I go find a yoga studio. Boom, you have a set of friends. You just do. So whatever you like vintage, if you're traveling abroad, say, when you get to, and you're maybe looking at even relocating, or maybe you just want to stay for 6 months just to chill out, do a sabbatical, rest your body, whatever, try different foods, right? Take something you like. So if you like needlepoint, there's a needlepoint group in Spain somewhere. Okay. So so yeah, I'm gonna go to a yoga studio. I'm gonna do that this week. I'm gonna Google yoga studios around where I am. And what's funny, you guys, is I did look out the window. And this is how spirit works when you're in tune. Randomly looked out the window like a week ago, because I've been in this town for a while now. And I see this older man, and that's important. And he's on a bicycle, and he's got a yoga mat. He's got a rolled up, it was a yoga mat. Like, unless it's the kind of mat also, some people might use that for like camping, but he didn't have any other camping thing. It was just him on a bike. I think he had a helmet on, and he was really fit looking, and he had a yoga mat. And I'm like, dude, where are you coming from? Where is this yoga studio? And that was Spirit's way of telling me, why are you not just take one class? Right? Yeah, it totally works. Hey, V Bond M, it totally works every time, because you guys know, I tell you, my friends would make fun of me. They're like, shit, you move so much, you're filling up. This is when people would write in books, would write your address, right? And then you're crossing you out, and they're like, you're filling up the whole V section, the whole W, the whole end of my address book is you. And I'm like, no, I don't move so much. And then they're like, wait, you were here, then you were here. Yeah, but I'm like, it's all local. It's all similar states. The states are adjacent. They're like, yeah, whatever, Viv. And this is what I would do. All right. Let me tell my weird intuition story here. Okay. It's not weird. It's not weird. I train on intuition. If you coach with me, we get mindful. We're going to build up your intuition. This just absolutely worked. This was magic. I was being bullied at the college where I worked. Many of you know this story. And I literally didn't know what to do. I literally was just like, I need to get into the woods. I need to get away from these people. Okay. That's kind of my natural reaction, because I am an introvert. I needed peace and I need nature. You guys, out of the blue, I just, Spirit's like, I think I already had the town in mind, or the area. But I basically, the message I remember was, call yoga studios. Call yoga studios. Randomly calling a yoga studio. Imagine, like, hello, hey, I know you teach yoga, but listen, I'm calling about something else. Literally the first place I called in this area. So like I said, I think I had my eye on that area because it met my criteria. The woman, I said, look, I'm looking for house sitting. House sitting. I call a yoga studio and ask them to help me with house sitting. Okay, that sounds crazy. The woman talked to me, because it's a small town. She's like, oh yeah, no, I don't really know anybody. And she's about to hang up, you guys. She's about to hang up, and then she goes, wait. And I'm like, yes. She goes, I do know someone. I know someone who often does like have house sitters at her house, but I don't know if she needs one now. I go, well, give me her info. See, that's magic, right? My website is called In the Flow of Magic. That is magic. I didn't even know. I'm just like, I said, do this. I'm going to do it. And she gave me the woman's number. That person, I didn't even have to go through people like sometimes I do. That woman, I ended up for 6 months staying in her home for, I want to say it was 5 or 6 months, because she was dating someone who had a home in Canada. And so she was staying in Canada, but she didn't want her cottage empty, right? Through the winter also. You guys, tell me that that's not magic. So where was my point with that? So traveling alone, listen to your intuition, and connect with spaces that you fit in. If you are a movie buff, whatever weird thing you're into, you guys, Donna, vintage, whatever you're into, find that group in your new place. You're going to meet your people. So that was my example. And I ended up teaching at that yoga studio. I literally ended up teaching like once a week. I was so burnt out, you guys. I was so burnt out. But I taught once a week at that yoga studio. Yeah. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to look where I am in the UK and just see. Now, I don't know how warm everybody is, whatever. Another thing I did start looking at meditation studios, meditation, places. I reached out to one place. It's one guy. just like I'm one person, but sometimes a meditation center is better because if the one head person, if you don't vibe with them, like he's like the guru kind of is what I'm saying. And he's not actually a guru because typically if a place has like a guru, there'll be a lot of people who are like followers or people who practice there. And in that community, you know, you can meet somebody. So anyway, so this tip is if you're traveling, you're relocating, look for the thing that you love and reach out and do that thing. Don't just reach out like I did because that was random. Um, you know, if you love camping and there's a camping club or hiking is a good one. You love hiking, you love walking, you love dogs. Huge, right? Like if I were permanently in a place and I knew like I love dogs and you know, then I'd gotten a dog right away. I'm going like, oh, is there a dog club? All the people walking their dogs every morning. So you have to kind of know the tricks to make friends. Let me know if you have any tips on that. And if there's any questions about traveling solo in, you know, over 50 by yourself. I'm not going to lie, you know, some things have happened. Um, one, I did twisted my ankle, you guys. And so even now walking is painful. I want to say I twisted it now about let me think for a second. When did I twist my ankle? Wow, it has been, I want to say it's been about 6 weeks now. I'm walking much, much better, but my ankle still hurts. I got really scared when that happened because I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm in a foreign country and now like I can't even like walk. And it wasn't broken, it was sprained. But and this is some positives. Let me give you some more positives. Um, I went to an osteopath, which osteopathy is literally a type of doctor in the US, but it's not so respected. In the UK, it looks much more common. Let me know, you guys, if you've even heard of it. I've heard of it, but I'm like, what exactly? They work with bones because osteo has to do with bones. So I'm like, okay. Sprained ankle, swollen, out of pocket $50. $50 to get my ankle checked, massaged. She gave me exercises. And I went twice. And my insurance should cover it. So you have to pay out of pocket when you're traveling, typically. And unless it's like something really big, because I did ask them, what if it's something severe and the person's unconscious? And they're like, oh, well, in that case, you know, you get the thing and then we deal with them directly. But in this case, I was able to hobble in. I hobbled over there, you guys, and went 2 visits. And so my ankle is better. It's still swollen. And if I walk, I think just walking on the concrete, at first walking uneven, like any uneven surface, you could feel the ankle being like, whoa, whoa, you're making me tilt. I can't tilt. Like, but it is better. It is better. But that was very scary. Again, I did have the travel insurance. But I don't know if many of you know, the UK literally does have its NHS, its National Health System, I suppose, is really strained, is really under pressure for some of the very same reasons. I'm sorry, but when they did Brexit, right, they're getting rid of people. They got rid of the Eastern Europeans. They got rid of the black and brown people, right, who were doing a lot of these jobs. And so, and they are extremely short staff of nurses and doctors. I've just met someone here who is from the Caribbean who was imported because they have a shortage of doctors because of many, many reasons, right? So anyway, let me read some more of your comments. And again, I'm talking about solo travel, the good and the bad. So I think that's pretty much it. Let me see. So yeah, V Bonded said, I love that idea. Vintage says, I took a yoga class through my college, had to write my own yoga sequence, and it made me want to pick up my yoga teacher training classes again and get my teacher certification. Okay. I think it's wonderful. Vintage, the thing with being a yoga teacher though, and I have a friend who's in Colombia. I can't round it like it's, she's like, it's not Colombia like the college, it's Colombia. Um, she said even there, the yoga teachers, they have like a real job. So it's great, but it's very hard to make a full-time living as a yoga teacher. Just know that. But yeah. So this feels kind of like a push to do that. Vintage, what do you mean? Oh, a push. Got you, got you. In terms of Yeah. Okay. You took a yoga class through your college. You had to write your own yoga sequence. I have to tell you, they didn't have you do that like the first class, right? Because to write your own yoga sequence is kind of advanced. So that's interesting. It probably was later in the term. If I'm understanding you right, you took a class, but it ran for several weeks. Then you had to write a sequence. Okay. So it sounds like you were in yoga teacher training. Yeah. Yeah, if you love it. I mean, if you don't love it, then don't do it. But if you love yoga for yourself, even if you know you're not going to teach, again, any of you watching this, if you really love yoga and you want to go in depth, then you can take a yoga teacher training. It doesn't mean that you have to teach. Okay? Yeah. Hey Mel, how are you? It is, and Mel, same thing. I said to Vintage said this too. She's like, I'm so happy you're traveling. This for me is a respite. It's respite. It's a sabbatical. It's obviously it's like vacation, but it's to what am I trying to say? What I'm really looking for is just time out of the US and the stress of the US. So I guess that's what a vacation is. But when I hear vacation, Mel, that's why I say this, I think of like, oh, the typical American vacation. It's like, oh, I've got a week. Where can I go? So I wouldn't call this a vacation. I'm calling it like slow matting. Um, what's the other word? Where you're kind of scouting. I'm scouting locations. Now the UK is not honestly, and other this fits in. I'm so excited to talk about this. Um, I don't think I would relocate to the UK. What I'm seeing is the UK has very similar issues as America. And then somebody else somewhere said, not to me, but they're like, yeah, they're like cousins, like one birth the other. I think I was talking about stiffness or coldness, and they're like, well, yeah, that's where America was England, and we're escaping England. That's where America got some of its the Puritanism and the certain aspects of the religion and the culture was from England. So I'm like, yeah, I see that. So if you have questions about the UK, definitely ask. Um, but yeah, I was going over solo travel, what's good and what's bad. And so the bad is being in the wrong time zone. Most of my friends are on the East Coast. It's even worse if they were on the West Coast, right? America is 4 hours right now, but it's typically 5 hours off of UK time, meaning it's late in the evening when most of my friends would want to talk to me. So I have Mel been having some trouble. So Vintage says, I want to have multiple side hustles because I'm disabled. Doing one thing full time is too much. It was your final, exactly. I could tell you guys, did I teach yoga in college? Oh, duh. I did informally, yeah. So that's a great final they had you do where you had to write your own yoga sequence. Yeah, that's beautiful. When you said you took a class, I thought you meant one class, and I was like, wait, you wouldn't have somebody. That's when I realized, okay, you must have meant you took like a whole semester. Yeah, I understand. So if you are disabled, you need things that you can do that do not exhaust you. I am so sorry that that is an issue you're dealing with. I definitely have a couple of other regular viewers who have that as well. Um, I would say though, Vintage, I'm just gonna, maybe I'll pull for you. Just think about how many you can handle, because when you do have many little ones, it scatters your attention, and our attention, just like a laser beam, when you can focus it, it's more powerful. So I get what you're saying, because I also get bored. I get bored too. I need different things to just lift my attention. Okay. And then okay, I can do something else. But just beware. I would say I wouldn't try to do more than 3 side hustles. I would say maybe even just 2. That's just, my thoughts. Yeah, there's some reasons why I might not while I'm doing it, maybe afterwards. Yeah. Maybe in hindsight, like looking back. So Mel, yeah, would you consider vlogging your process during your travels, or even making a video that goes into detail about what you're doing? So a little bit to answer that now. Hey, if you're just joining, I'm talking about solo travel. And again, really important. I don't even want to use the word travel, slow matting, scouting where to relocate. So solo travel, looking at places to relocate for a peaceful life, a life that suits us. That's really what I'm doing. It isn't a vacation like, ooh, I want to go see the Eiffel Tower. It's not like that. This is much more serious, you guys, in that, again, I'm really saying, I'm going to use this analogy again. If a ship is sinking and you're on the ship, do you stay and try to fix the ship? Or do you jump off the ship and try to get into the lifeboats, right? Our ancestors have always migrated. Every one of you watching this, your ancestors, or you wouldn't even have survived. Think about it. When there wasn't enough food, your people got up, packed their stuff. If they had animals, again, we're talking over thousands of years, they packed their animals and they moved to better locations, mostly for food. If there was war, right? So if there was famine, if there was war, our ancestors would move. They would fight, of course, there was that, but then they would often try to move. So this is normal human tendency, like where, as Nomad Capitalist says, go where you're treated best. So that's kind of what I'm doing. It's not sort of just a typical like, ooh, I have so much money and now I'm going to go vacation. That's not. So yeah, it's a great question, Mel. Um, there are different ways. I'll just mention different ways that one could go abroad on a low budget. Um, there is something, is it called glamping? There are websites where you literally go do some farm work. And now I know to most Americans that sounds terrible, but if you're in a country you want to be in, if you're in Cyprus and you're picking grapes or something 4 hours a day, and you're sturdy and you exercise anyway, right? So you can do things also. There are many for English speakers where you work at like a hostel or you work at like a hotel because you have English, right? So, and you can get to stay for free and they give you board and they give you typically food. They give you food and board. So there are ways to kind of work exchange um, to travel, Mel, like the cheaper ways. There's even a place, get this, where you exchange your house. Now, I liked my apartment. I was calling it Hermit Cottage in the US. So somebody who has like an equivalent, obviously, if they have a castle, you can't have a one-room apartment. Okay. But you get what I'm saying. There are sites where you both agree they're coming to America, they're going to stay at your house. You're going there, you're going to France, and you're going to stay at their house. So be creative, you guys. Be creative is what I'm saying, right? I'm a creative, holistic, healing, and creative, and we have to think outside of the box now. So those are some ways that one could look at traveling relatively cheaply because travel is expensive. These hotels and Airbnbs are ridiculous. This is why people in Spain, you guys, are like throwing water on the tourists. Why? Because all their apartments are now being Airbnb'd, and they're basically apartments that Spanish locals can't afford because they're off the market. They're off the market. They're only for like rich Americans or Brits who can pay, you know, 90 a night or whatever. You see what I'm saying? So look for ways out of the box. So a lot of times there's work exchanges, there's house sitting or pet care. Again, that's not usually paid, but you get a place to stay and you're taking care of a pet. Sometimes there's not even a pet. Again, and there are sites that can arrange that or that you can meet people, who need that. And like I said, even just exchanging your place, or I think there's another site where it's like fractional, meaning say you go to Florida, you're going to go visit your mom in Florida for like a whole month. Somebody from that site maybe comes and stays at your place in outside Boston or in New York City. Then you've banked some credits. You can maybe go on the website and be like, oh, you know what? Maybe I'll visit the Netherlands. And because you have credits, you can go to the Netherlands, or wherever. Okay. So there's different ways, more questions. And the one negative, like I said, is loneliness that I think a lot of these travel videos, if you watch them, they're often couples traveling. And so I just want you guys to know that my big advice and what I'm going to try and I'll report back is do activities that you love to meet people who like the same activities, right? But again, I am an introvert, so I think it really is the time zone. Like if I were in Mexico or some South American countries like Brazil, for example, because I would tutor English sometimes for folks in Brazil, you guys, and they were always only an hour off. So then it's like I still really have contact with my friends because, again, for me, being able to see my friends or just talk on the phone does a lot. And obviously, if I were living in the place, I would make new friends. So again, this is the drawback of the slow travel. You're in a place for a month, but it's not quite long enough to make friends, right? You see the problem? So you guys have any tips for me? Let's see. Yes. Yeah, I like that. So you're cultivating a wonderful spiritual web floating on good energy from situation to situation, allowing it to pour positive energy into you. Yeah, and basically also saving money. I love that. That was so spiritual. So really though, saving money by, if you are in a lower cost country, like, oh, this is one of the pluses of the travel. Nothing to do with being solo or not, but I would say food is cheaper in the UK, you guys. Food is cheaper in the UK. The last 2 weeks, I've really paid attention. I would say my food costs have been about $30 for food. Tell me if, isn't that, I think that's, I know I should know what I paid in the US, but there are various reasons that make it more complicated. But I would say in the UK, for a solo person, I'm spending about $30 on groceries. Occasionally, oh my gosh, I love these. I think it's Scottish. They're these patties. They're almost like Jamaican meat patties, but they can be stuffed with potatoes or cheese. And they call them pasties, I think. Pasties. They're so good. But so, I mean, just grocery shopping, $30. I'm pretty sure, I'm like, that's cheap. That's cheap. And I'm shopping pretty much the same way, obviously, meaning like I didn't go from being a carnivore in America and now I'm a vegan in the UK. No, right? I'm buying veggies, I'm buying fruit, I'm buying tofu. Um, I am buying like prepared like fake meats, because that is definitely cheaper here. Um, like there's this, oh my gosh, it's called the something butcher, but it's not. It's like fake chicken. It is so good. It does taste like chicken. It's really good. I haven't seen it in America. So yeah, I'm spending about $30 a week on groceries. Now, if I get bored of cooking my own food, and then, like I said, go out and buy these like patties and things, it's still, I would say, just about equal the takeout or a little cheaper. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Mel, if you have questions, but yeah, and or repeat, because you did ask if logging the process. Some of it, yeah, I don't want to say everything out on the interwebs, but those, what I mentioned when with your first question, are the ways to do it. This is so funny. Hang on, guys, hang on. Literally, I told the person I'm going to be, let me see, maybe I messed up the time. Yeah, I messed up the time. I told him, call me after this time. And then I'm later. But anyway, yeah, questions. What I'm trying to say though is there are ways to travel. And as I said to you guys, remember, I was able to get a subletter for my apartment. So, because yeah, I couldn't be traveling and like paying my rent there. That would be crazy, right? That would be like maintaining two places, right? Especially if you're traveling and paying for housing and you're paying for housing back home. No, no, no. So I talked about that, Mel. I think you were there. Yeah, I talked about how I sort of magically got like the person even tracked me down. Like that's what I'm saying. When I'm in the flow, which is what I teach, some of you need to come coach with me, is its manifestation. This, like I said, this young girl came to me and said, I reached out to you before, you didn't reply, but I'm reaching out again because I want to know if your apartment's available. I was like, what? I didn't see your first message. And she's like, your apartment, because I live in a carriage house, which for many of you who don't know, a carriage house is is what it sounds like, a carriage house. Like it was a house, like there was the big house. And then there was the little house that had the carriage. They'd park the carriage in it, right? It's almost like the garage back in the day, right? That it was usually 2 stories or whatever. She's like, I wanted a carriage house and it's close to some location she needed to be close to. And I'm like, oh my God, come. Would she come tomorrow? Tonight? She's like, no, okay, well, come tomorrow. She loved it. She's perfect. So, and this is like I've said before, but again, some of you didn't hear it. In terms of manifestation, you can't look at just what's in front of your eyes, because what's in front of my eyes was everybody's like, Viv, you're going to try to get a sublet in February? School's already started, so nobody's coming in the winter to our town. Like, why would they need a sublet? They would, like, nobody moves in the winter. And I'm like, yeah, somebody's coming to go to one of the colleges for some special event. I don't know, but there's somebody, and it's just manifested. So you just have to keep your vision as much as you can. And this really is deep. Don't let people pollute your vision. Now, I was wrong in that we never tell spirit the exact how. So in my mind, but this is how I got around it. I was like, I think it's going to be a guy. He's going to be, excuse me, some like postdoctorate fellow. They often have to come and study for like 3 months. I'm like, that's what makes sense. Like I said, it wasn't. It just turned out to be someone who, young person, wants to have their own place, wants to kind of get away from their parents, figure their life out. They're in school, but they want their own place, even though they're local. And that's it. Right? So trust the divine to get the details right, and you take action. Of course, I had put it in like Craigslist. I put it on Facebook, anywhere you could put up flyers, whatever the thing is you're wanting to manifest, you guys, Mel, Vintage, Donna, you take the steps, but then you listen. You're like, okay, wait, what? What? Say it louder. Right? And sometimes it is confusing. Sometimes it definitely is confusing. But yeah, no, ask the questions out here. But that's basically the things I mentioned. I'm putting my assistant at in the flow of magic. That is how I am doing it. Get your household costs covered and find different ways that you're able to travel that are low cost. Yeah, I mean, it's a miracle I didn't just call up a yoga studio and be like, hey, I'm a yoga teacher from America. I'm good. Can I come teach for like a month? Right? Think out of the box. Think out of the box. So, okay, I'm gonna get the cards. I'm gonna do some mini readings if you guys want me to. It's just about an hour. I'm gonna pause. I'm gonna have some tea, and I'm gonna turn on the light because the sun is setting. It's actually really pretty, you guys. The sky is clear and the clouds have the orange at the bottom as the sun is hitting it, and then they're kind of gray clouds, that bluish gray. You guys know I love clouds, right? I'm not painting British clouds. I should probably paint some British clouds. So let me turn my light on. I will come back and do readings. I am going to keep it focused on what the spirit wants you to know to maybe move your life forward. But yeah. Yes, see, you guys, when spirit said to me to get out, I mean, I acted like the house was on fire. You don't know, the last 4 weeks, which was now maybe 2 months ago, and I'm a minimalist, you guys. I had very little furniture, but I have a lot of books and papers and things. I just was like really just throwing things together, like, okay, and packing. And I packed 4 boxes, you guys. This is a detail, Mel. I packed 4 boxes of books that if I did not go back to the US, what books would I absolutely want? And I know shipping is kind of expensive, but I looked at it and I'm like, for these books that are very important to me, rather than try to rebuy them, I would rather just have these books. And I labeled 4 or 5 boxes. I have the list of what's in them, and that's it. And then I took clothes that travel well. Like you guys will see, I'm wearing a lot of black. And the reason it's like, because black travels well, right? So black and gray. You guys know I love color, but you can't be like wearing the same colorful shirt every day. People are like, does she only have that Hawaiian shirt? Like, what is that? Right? So I wear black and gray, and you can't see it as like, oh, she wore that 2 days ago. Okay, Vintage, hang on. Vintage, I'm going to have you ask a question. Again, keep it general enough, but on a topic. What is it that you are wanting? Because I use my energy and tune in to like the etheric. And so it should be something that you are really wanting to know. You mentioned a couple things to me. It's still not 100% clear if you're what you're trying to do. Like, what do you want to manifest? And ask me that question. All right. Let's get the light on. Let's get the light on. There we go. All right. Guys, I'm going to take one photo of, I have a card reading out and I need to document it. And then I'll come back and pull and do mini readings. Okay. Let's see. All right. Let's get that. Okay. Okay. All right, my beauties. Oh, there we go. I'm going to have to shuffle because I got to clear the energy of the cards. Like I said, I had a reading out. Also, some of you are really going to be interested. Do any of you know Abiola Abrams? Abiola is, I think she has a website called Womanifesting. We overlap quite a bit, probably more than anybody else on YouTube. I overlap with her. And she created a like goddess deck, African goddesses, and she's going to come on. And she has an Oshun, the African Orisha Oshun. She has a new deck. So she's going to come on in about 2 weeks. I'm going to interview her and look at her card deck. And she has some divine feminine stuff that, in fact, a male client of mine was like, oh my God, I love her cards. He's like, they're really good. I love the deck she put out. Oh, thank you. Thanks for saying that. You know, a lot of people don't want calming though, Mel. That's the thing. Here. Okay, let me shuffle and then I'm going to go back. Vintage says, friendship. What about friendship? What about friendship? What about friendship? The clearer your question, I know I said general, but is it how can I have more friendships? What do you want? That's going to be my new, I swear I'm going to put in my header. What do you want? Those of you who have trouble manifesting, again, it's really important to be really honest with yourself. What do you want? What do you want? Like I said, if somebody offered me $1 billion right now, I'd be like, oh God, does that mean I have to be like Elon? No, right? If they offered me 500,000, I'd be like, okay. And you say, oh, well, that's your money level. No, it's not just that. You know what I'm saying? Having $1 billion isn't in my dharma. Maybe multimillionaire, maybe 6 figures, multiples, because I live very simply. My needs are easy to meet. There's actually a beautiful phrase about the rich man is the one whose needs are just easy to meet, right? It doesn't require. So for me, like even this beautiful sky that I'm seeing, because I'm up on the second floor, is just, it really is very beautiful. Like that nourishes my soul. So Vintage says, I was in a large friend group that left due to toxicity. Oh, that I left due to toxicity. Okay, gotcha. And it's been a year and I haven't made any new friendships. Wow. Do you guys see this? Because I'm like, oh, I'm doing the live and there's just a few folks here. But every time I do a live, you guys, every time I do a live, there's always someone or a few folks where it really resonates. And I think that's what my gift is, because I came on here, Vintage. You didn't know this. You haven't been here for a while, Vintage. And I'm coming on here and I'm talking about, yeah, the one problem with this slow travel, literally the only problem is loneliness, is missing my friends. And see, you guys, do you see what I'm saying? And then suddenly she's here and she's like, yeah, this is what's happening for me. So, okay. Yeah, Mel, definitely. I will put it in advance. The reason I'm looking down is I'm reading your comment. I will put it in advance. Absolutely. She's really cool. She is, I think, from not Panama, because I'm Jamaican. She's maybe it's Panama. She's from some South Caribbean, I don't know. And yeah, she got a book published by Hay House. She really blew up. I think she really networked because I remember her saying something about she was going to this event in New York and that was where she met people. But yeah, they published and it was overdue to have specifically like African Orishas. And I think this was her third deck. So yeah, I will be interviewing her on the channel. So Vintage, thank you for giving me, some detail. Yeah. So let's see. What can you see? You want new friendships, but you want new feeling lonely, but I'm unsure how to go about it or find the right people. Vintage, what did I just say? What do you like? Hey, Donna. Yeah. Aw, Mel, I feel you. These lives make my Sunday. Thank you, guys. Vintage, what did I just say before? What are you into? That's how you meet friends. Very often, listen, my new closest friend, I was doing an art open house. You guys mentioned, those of you who really follow me know, a couple months ago I was talking about, I had like an art open house. And I'm just sitting in my studio and it was really, it's kind of stressful. People randomly come in. And this woman who became my new best friend, her and her partner, her boyfriend, came in and they're talking, they're looking at my paintings. And then she goes, something. I'm like, yeah, the clouds are calming, meditation. She goes, meditation? She's studying meditation. She's in like this long program. You guys become a meditation teacher. And I'm like, oh, the minute we said that, we were like, blah, 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 blah. She goes, so then we exchanged numbers. She goes, you are going to like call me, right? I'm like, yeah, no, because we got to keep talking. Now a really good friend. So Vintage, what things do you like? It's often that seed of a friendship often starts with you have something in common. It could be just as silly as like an online game. I'm sorry, to me, I know that's serious for many people. Or again, you love dogs, or you're obsessed with Persian cats, or you're obsessed with, I don't know, a particular show. Okay, so let me pull for you. I'm going to keep shuffling. So Vintage, and I know you said you're disabled. So I don't know. I feel like first, it's good that you left the toxic group, right? It's good you left the toxic group. It's not worth it to suffer in there. So I'm going to pull first a tarot. This one wants to here. I don't even know what it is. Wow. Okay. So this card would say there's something about maybe not the energy for it right now. Because you got this reverse, the Ace of Wands. So maybe right now, let me see. Maybe right now is not the time to focus. Maybe because we're in an eclipse or something. Not in an eclipse, you know what I'm saying. Hold on. I'm trying to take this down, and so I need to find it there. You might not have the energy, I would say, for new friendships right now. But let's just look at that. That's one card, the Ace of Wands, but reversed. Or let's pull another tarot card on that. So regarding friendships. Yeah, if it were upright, I'd be like, wow, Spirit is saying go for it. Really go for trying to make new friends, be more social. But let's pull more explanation for that. Why was that reversed? This is what you get. Huh. Okay. It looks like with these two cards together, I'm going to say in terms of friendships, there's something about the energy is maybe not in that direction right now. But interestingly, you guys, she got this card, the Three of Wands, which very much often can mean looking at overseas, looking at travel. Do you guys see that? See the boats? And you've got this man standing there. There's a process already in play, and he's looking at how to broaden his horizons. So just because this one was reversed, if it were like this, I'd say, oh wow, there's definitely energy towards making friends, and it's about telling you to broaden your horizons. But reading it this way, I'm going to say this is more for you to focus on broadening your horizons for yourself, visioning for yourself, and even potentially travel, and maybe not the energy so much into making friends, because maybe if you travel, you might make friends abroad. I don't know. Vintage, are you did seem like you were looking at travel, you had said, right? And now I'm going to pull I love this deck. This is the Starseed deck that I've been really excited about. And then Mel, I will read your comment, put it on screen in a second. But Vintage, yeah, let me know, because I would say these two cards make me feel like you may want to put your energy more into looking at your life goals, overall life goals, what you want to do next, because this card is a beautiful card, especially upright, and that there may be some chance for you to shift your life, shift your energy, your creative outlet, I would even say. So let's pull a card from the Starseed deck. Okay, on friendships. Okay, this is the card you got. Okay, so let's look at this. Wow. Okay, see some pyramids. Wow. I've been getting this a lot lately too. Vintage, this is Star Ancestors, Hidden Secrets, Lost Wisdom, Look a Little Deeper. I know a lot of you are going to be like, she needs to go to Egypt. She got to go to Egypt. Okay. Star Ancestors. All right. This is a new deck. So I'm going to read you what the book says, because I don't have all of this inside of me yet. But Hidden Secrets, Lost Wisdom, it's definitely about hearkening back to potentially past lives where you had wisdom and that you need to get quiet. Vintage. Remember when I also felt drawn to say to you, you have skills? That's resonating for me now, because you're like, oh, not that you were putting yourself down, but you're like, I am disabled. And I was like, yeah, but there's also a gift somewhere for you. There's a gift here. So the card means this is for Vintage Sims, who's asking about friendships. She had left a toxic friendship group. She wants more friends. Hidden Secrets, Lost Wisdom. Look a little deeper. The ancients, okay, they knew more about the stars and our connection with the stars. Their pyramids, temples, and other places of worship created in precise alignment with the stars exist in all corners of the world. Because I also got Mexico. There are pyramids in Mexico. It just comes to me. And parts of South America. What if this ancient wisdom is available to you, Vintage? To tap into the part of you that remembers and knows. All ancient secrets are whispered forever in your ears. All mystic knowing blooms in your heart. All potent power pumps through your veins. Okay, you're being invited to step into your ancient knowingness, to be held by the rememberings of the star ancestors. Look a little deeper. Change your point of view. You're being called to do something different. So I'm saying this is, look at it, and his head is slightly tilted. He's kind of like, and looking at the ships. Again, this is often overseas travel, or more metaphorically, Vintage, expand your horizons. So I would say for the friends, because it did pop this up, expand your horizons. The friends you want may be far away. So often a creative solution is right in front of you, but we can't, but because we think the same thoughts and act the same way, we miss what's in the open. They say, place this card, I'm going to hold it up, place this card energetically, the portal of your heart, and whisper the following. I'm ready to remember ancient mysteries and secrets from deep within. I think you, like I said, right at the beginning, there's a gift though you have. And so I think you need to tap into it, and it's something that you will be able to side hustle. Maybe it is tarot reading, maybe, who knows? So Vintage says, so yes, that was for Vintage. She says, okay, awesome. That actually does make sense. I've been wanting new friendships, but the thought of putting the energy in that it takes to be a good friend sounds very draining. Okay, that you have going on, exactly. So Spirit is like, expand your personal horizons. Don't focus on friendships, like, okay, make friends. No, do your thing, Vintage. Do your thing, expand your vision for your life, take action. And in that process, the people you meet, I notice whenever I'm the loneliest in life, I have the most personal growth. Yeah. Okay. And you're trying to figure out your future and do lots of creative things. So this card bodes really well for that. And it does, remember you guys, those of you watching, I did say to her, this person, typically they've already put in some work. It's a 3, so they have the wands planted. They've been doing something. So yeah, she's been in school. You've been trying to figure it out. But yeah, there, I would say for you, get really quiet. Get really quiet and listen. And wow, I see those figures. I didn't see it first, right? Because you see the clouds, but you see the figures there. So think of it as like some inner wisdom or ability that you have that you can start to tap into. Yeah, good. And Vintage says finally, oh, okay. Mel says, wow, Mel, that is so interesting that you're working with support for disabled people here in New York. And you're on this live stream, and Vintage is disabled. Now, Vintage is in another part of the country, but that is interesting. That is interesting, right? Deep down, I know that I'm meant to be independent right now and focus on growing my skills and personal growth so that I can feel more whole and stable. Yep, exactly. Vintage, exactly. So this confirms what you know. And remember, I said the energy reversed. It's like there's not quite the energy for it. Exactly. For friendship right now, you don't have that like hand of God saying, yes, go forward. It's like, eh. Instead, it's more about looking at your life, your vision. So that's really good. And uncovering some skills or wisdoms that you have. Okay, who else is here? Would anybody else like a reading? And it sounds like Vintage, you knew. You knew. And yeah, Donna. Donna says, Mel, I feel you. These lies make my Sunday. So again, any questions, whether it is about the kind of original lead-in, solo travel, I give you several ideas. You just need to do your Googles, as somebody I follow says. You need to do your Googles. There are many countries that are still very open for Americans to travel or stay there and that are lower cost. Mexico, for those of you who have like a solid income, Mexico is still an option. I believe they raised it though to 3,600 a month you need to become a resident, which of course is way more than a Mexican makes. But I guess they're like, well, if Americans are coming in, we need them to have that, right? Albania, you can stay for a year as an American. Hi. Okay, is your name? That is Hebrew. Hey. What is your name? I need a little bit to connect with the person. I need a name and I need what, because you're new here. So I need a name and I need what are you wanting to manifest to know. And so yeah, and I'm shuffling, just breaking the cards, right? So yes. Tell me your name just in English because that's, I mean, I'm learning one other language, but other than that, I am English only. Tell me your name and what your question is. Nirvana, like Bahama. Nevhama. Nevhana. Nirvana, like Bahama. Doesn't quite, yeah, from Israel. No. I recognize the script, yeah, is Hebrew. Or yeah, definitely. So yeah, what is it? What area or what is your general question? Again, not a yes or no question because yes or no questions are, first of all, giving up too much power or you want to manifest health. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Because I always say yes or no questions like, will he come back to me? I don't read because I can't waste my energy on questions like that. Like, will he ever come back? Okay, one. Anyway, don't get me started. So Nevhana. Let's see. You want to manifest health. Okay. Okay. Just fanning out the cards. What is that? Okay. That's interesting. So that's Chariot reversed. I'll pull one more. Tarot. There's not a lot of drive or something. That it can literally also mean like your car is going to break down. I know that sounds really mundane. So typically I'm not reading about stuff like that. But there's some lack of forward movement related to your health. Let's see. Fanning out the cards. Nirvana. Health. Okay, so something is ended. Okay. And again, this is not medical advice, obviously. So this was the first card. So I mean, I read that as like some sort of lack of drive or ability to move forward. And then with this card, right, there's an end. This is the Ten of Swords is very much about something ending, but it also is a positive card because as you can see, the light is there. The sun is going to rise. So, Nirvana, is there something that has happened that is causing some sort of ending related to your health? And if I put the two together, let me just see. There's a lack of forward motion. Because you got this upright, I'm not going to say you're stuck on something that's ended because it's upright. So I don't think it's that you're stuck on something that's ended. But there's some lack of forward movement or drive or ambition or power to move forward, I would even say, because the Chariot is that card of making changes, and it's kind of a go for it card. If this were upright, it would mean go for it, like whatever your dream is, like yes, you need to get those beasts running, right? Driving the Chariot. But reverse, you could also be looking at what your drives are, what your ambitions are, but something is ended and it's final. It's a final ending of something. Let me see what she says. She says self-sabotage and I lost my brother. Yeah. See something, I mean, you can see there are swords in the person's back. But then we always say it's like the hand, there's a hand position, it's like a hand gesture. And again, the sun is rising. So even though this is very bitter, right? It's bitter, it's sad, but it also bodes that there's new, that the new can happen. So sorry for your loss. And self-sabotage. Yeah, this feels like lack of personal ambition, to be really honest. Yeah. Um, lack of drive. But again, if you've lost your brother, and then again, these two cards together, that could be saying that's related, right? The loss of your dear person in your life, right? Could be what has drained your ability to move forward. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Let me pull out a more spiritual card for you. It's going to tell you more about kind of where your soul is and what you can do. Okay, in terms of health, in terms of like what would be positive. Okay, this is the card. It's upside down, which I read oracle cards if they're upside down as this you're having difficulty with this. Okay, this is a beautiful card. Again, I'm going to mispronounce your name. I know you said it rhymes with Bahama, but then it's a Hana. So it doesn't quite like Nevhana. If it were Nevhama, it would rhyme with Bahama, but it's Nevhana, Nevhana, I think, like Bahama. This is a great card for you because it gives you power. It says your life is your canvas. So what does that mean? And I've been getting this a lot too. Hold on. Your artist. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean painter, but artist, manifestation, creative accountability. It means what do you want for your life? You're not giving the universe a clear picture of what you want. What do you desire? What would feed your soul and make your heart happy? You're having trouble having any sense that you have power in your life. And this card is reminding you that the issues you're having have to do with creative accountability. You're not taking accountability for your life. So I'm going to read you just a little bit. And look, you can see the book opens easily to it because this has been coming up for me because I am very much a manifester and I need to get some clarity on what I want to move forward. Sorry guys, the light's now weird because the outside light is going down. So this is, yep, for Nirvana. What are you being called to create in your life? That's the big question. So I'm going to hold the card up again. Just take a look at it because it's real. It's really like it can help you tap into that. It's really quite beautiful. The cards are quite beautiful. What are you being called to create in your life? This card is inviting you to see your entire life as a canvas. That's what they're saying, artist. And the picture is completely up to you. Color it with your thoughts and your feelings. Create the life that you most long to live. You may also be being called to be more creative in your everyday life. Okay. This is a card that gives you power. It's a card saying you need to get clear if you want, even with your health. So are you visioning yourself? Well, that's the self-sabotage. What vision? You need a vision for your life. What do you want it to be? You can manifest what you want, but you need to sort of really get quiet and maybe work with your grief, right, about your brother's passing. And what is it you want? Because then you'll be able to move forward, which the card would be upright. So yeah, you're stuck. You're not moving forward, right? The chariot can't drive upside down. The positive of it reversed is that you're looking at that. It can also mean you're really looking at what your drive is. What excites you? What do you value? So writing, okay. Nachama. Okay. Yeah, Nachama. So you do have a creative. So yes, this card. So why don't you do some journaling or some creative writing, right? To start to write your life out, write and create that canvas. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes, and Donna says here, yeah, I'm very sorry for your loss. So I wouldn't even say it's self-sabotage. Look at it more that I think the grief might be weighing on you of your brother, and that has sapped your ability to move forward. And that's very different than self-sabotage. So look at how you're speaking to yourself. And you say you want to write, begin writing. What I love is it's one of the simplest things. Like you literally, like I said, I had a pen in my hair, right? And you need paper. It's even easier than being an artist. I mean, an artist just needs paper too and a writing implement, right? A pencil, a pen, you can sketch with anything. So I hope that was helpful. Your life is your canvas, so you need to start to look at what do you want. Okay, I think I'm gonna go now, you guys, because let's see. Oh, it's an hour and a half. Yeah, and I think my throat is getting a little bit dry. And okay, the kitty is, you know, when they're asleep but their eyes are open slightly? I can't tell if he's like glaring at me, like their eyes like slightly open. No, thank you. Do your writing, whether it's creative writing, whether it's journaling about what's happened to you, journaling about your stress, your fears. Thank you. Thank you guys. Yeah. Thank you for being here. And many, for some reason, with my lives, there's always many more people. The minute I'm not live, they tune in. I don't know if it's my timing, like you guys who can be here during the day on Sunday. It's probably my timing. Um, Again, but I like nice light. I love natural light. I don't like this weird, where I'm staying. Again, not my, I would not decorate like this. There's only overhead light. You guys, overhead light flattens. It's not a good, we all know this. Overhead light is like, right? It's like interrogation light. So literally that's the light I have. I have like a little sun lamp. I think that it's like a Lumi, so I can put it to the brightest and kind of get some other light. But so I like to go live when you're welcome. You're welcome. So this is a card of power. This is a card of power. It's really saying it's on you now, that as an artist, as a life artist, your life is your canvas. And what is it you want? You know, fantasize a little, dream a little bit, you know, and start to figure out what you want. Yeah. And like I said, look at your language to yourself. I don't quite know if it's self-sabotage. And grief can definitely affect our health. I don't know what your illness is, but grief in Chinese medicine tends to affect the lungs. All the whole organ systems are connected. So it might not show in the lungs, but the lungs specifically have to do with grief and sadness. And so that might be the case for you. Hold on, guys. I need to clean my computer off. There's like sticky stuff on there. So it's so great to hang out with you guys. It was really, really nice. And I usually put out videos either Tuesday, Thursday, like either Tuesday or Thursday, and definitely live on Sundays. So remember, you can also come for an energy healing. Yeah, I want your class at blogging. Blogging? What? Blogging? I used to be on Blogger way back in the day, right? I think Blogger still exists. It's like a free, you can put a blog up there. But remember, you guys, again, those of you watching from the future, those of you live, I do chakra energy healing. And from decades of spiritual work, I have the ability to like tune into your energy and create a balance within it. It seems to be best for folks who are kind of stuck in some way. You just feel kind of stuck. And I kind of am able to like boost your energy a little bit and almost untangle it, though I don't tend to see it as tangles. I basically see your energy is in like a visual way and then work with it to balance it. People have told me that they feel it, and very often we correlate where I was working. They're like, I feel warmth or I felt tingling at that chakra. And I'm like, okay, something's definitely happening, right? And this is an ability I first noticed years ago, but I wasn't comfortable working with it. So you can come for that though, as I've let some years pass and develop it more. And they also have coaching. You are also an empath, very likely. Empaths, a lot of times we can have illnesses because we are so sensitive. So that is not uncommon. That is not uncommon. You probably are. Yeah. Yeah, you probably are. And we can somaticize things, people's emotions. If you're around toxic people, or you said you're in Israel. I'm sure that's like very stressful right now, right? All of that you can somaticize in your body. But also, those of you who are just dealing with a lot of stress, I can teach you mindfulness practices and specific acupressure healing points or potent points that you do for almost like tapping, but I don't tend to do it as tapping. We tend to do it as holding, right? So we bring energy to the meridians that nourish, whether it's the lungs, whether it's the kidneys, depending on what your imbalance is, okay? And so that is more coaching where I teach you how to do it versus the energy healing. You just relax, lay down, and it's like a distance energy healing. So those are the two current services I'm offering. Much love, and I'll talk to you soon. And my website, if you want to go check it out, is intheflowofmagic.com. Let me put it in here before I go. www. I don't think we even need that, but I like to do it. Intheflowofmagic.com, because I truly believe we can live our lives in the flow as we tune in and get more present. All right. Much love. Have a beautiful week till I see you again. Bye-bye.